Perfect.
How's your day going?
Hey, you know, it's going day by day.
Yeah.
Put that there.
What does your days look like?
Off on. Fighting battles left, right, and center, you know.
Yeah.
As I'm sure you've heard.
Oh, I hear little bits here and there.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing, David Jackson will be getting in contact with you. Because of the fact that this letter was only signed off by Lauren Wilker, no supervisors or anything. This is the one that I was just telling you about. First off, it goes back to my psychoactive drug marijuana.
I see that.
Yeah,
So
that's from the internal review.
okay, this latest one.
Yeah, the one that they had to comply. David Jackson has asked me to say, what is it that impairs it? Prove that it impairs my ability to parent. Because they're not explaining it. They're saying it's just the ability to parent, but it's not actually an ability to parent because you can't physically prove that I've done anything wrong.
So you started by saying it's not signed off by Ian, but that's not your complaint.
No, that's what David Jackson wanted me to address as well because he'll be getting in contact with you.
Oh, okay. So we'll wait to hear from David then on this one.
Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this forth. If you look right here, you'll see that, okay, this is from a social worker named Rhonda Camoon to a girl named Jessie Adamson. Okay, I copied information from his child service file.
Yeah.
And put it in my daughter's child service file.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was filed in my daughter's mom's family service file.
Yeah.
Okay? You can't, that's contradicting yourself. Okay? And how can it be in a family service file if you didn't have my child service file to begin with? Okay?
Well, these are not my people.
Well, I understand that, but
Yeah.
I was directed to you so you can tell me where to go because apparently this is all community service related. So if you look here,
Don't go too fast, then you're going to miss it.
okay.
So number one. So the accuracy, or with this letter,
Yeah.
it's about
Marijuana, basically.
yeah.
And they're saying it impairs my ability to parent. How can they prove that? Because I've never done anything wrong.
Okay.
They have to explain in detail why they prove it and impair it. Because a psychoactive drug, you can state basically, oh, you can have coffee. It's a psychoactive drug. Tylenol, psychoactive drug. It's all the same. You can't prove anything. They're holding something against me that I'm medically licensed for.
Yeah.
They can't.
So it's around proving a disability around parenting due to the marijuana use.
Right. But they can't prove it because they've never done anything wrong. And I've got letters to basically back that up from Lauren Wilker, who basically states that evidence against me is insubstantial. A letter between me and David Jackson saying that they had a falsified Section 13 on me.
Okay, so David is going to address this one, you said.
Yes, he'll be getting in contact with you sometime because he didn't receive a copy of that letter at all.
Oh, okay.
And he's not kind of happy about that, but whatever. No big deal.
No big deal.
No big deal there.
Okay, he's a good guy.
Yes, he is. He's a very good guy. Okay, so we got that letter, right? Now, when you have a second, okay,
Yeah.
this is my daughter's birth certificate, right? Take a look at my signature at the very bottom, please.
Yeah.
Forget that one. That one. Alright, that's the initial Lauren Wilker report. Now, there's that. Perfect. Should be this one. Okay, now you see that, right? Okay, now
You're going to show me another.
Yep, I'm going to show you a privacy request form. That's my signature. Look at the date.
Yep.
Okay? Look at the date at the bottom.
Yep.
That is not my signature, and that is not my email.
Yeah, can I see that one?
Yes, you may.
So,
Then,
hang on.
yeah.
So somebody filled this out.
Yep.
That's clearly somebody else's printing.
Yep.
And whose email address is that?
Well, if you take a
I am a daddy.
If you took this 8 out right there,
Yeah.
that was my original email address.
Yeah.
So it's Irene Margaret, not Irene Anthony.
Okay.
Okay? Now you see the two signatures between the two. Okay? Now, I'm going to go...
So you're saying this is not your signature?
No.
You didn't sign this one?
Nope, because I can prove it.
Yeah,
Here's a
okay.
2013 privacy request form that I requested information from the Ministry of Children and Family Services 3 years later. So you want to tell me how they can do the scribbles before I do? And look, it's not even identical to theirs, even 3 years later. Then,
Hang
this...
on.
Yeah.
All right, so you're suggesting somebody else filled out a request for access to your records.
Rhonda Camon. That goes with that. Rhonda Camon.
How do you put the two together?
Well, you see how she contradicts herself? Right here. I copied. Right?
Information from his CS file.
Yeah.
So you were child in care, and this
Yeah.
is your file.
Yeah, and put in my daughter's file.
And
Or maybe it was pulled from my daughter's mom's family service file.
Yeah.
My contradicting is that first off, how could you have my child service file in my daughter's service file when I didn't sign a request form, or it was pulled from my daughter's mom's family service file? But again, you can't have that without so-and-so. First off, you contradict yourself. It's the same person, and you can... Why? Okay, here's an example. Right here, 12 days later. Why wouldn't you have me sign it the same day?
Well, let me back up for a second. So, in the ministry,
Yep.
we can have access to all of the files we've worked on. Your historical...
With consent.
With historical CS file?
Yes.
We can pull it, because...
With consent.
No, we can pull it.
No, it's privacy.
No, it's not.
Because it's underage.
We can pull it. Well, we were your guardians.
No, you weren't, actually. Actually, I was under a temporary care agreement.
Yeah, we were your guardians.
Yeah.
Under a temporary
Okay,
care...
but if-
an agreement. A temporary care
Yeah.
agreement.
Yeah.
Not an order.
No.
Okay, you're using two different languages.
That's why this says send all
But
your
we still
assessments.
have this. Your file information for MCFD belongs to MCFD, right?
But you can't pull it without a request file.
No, we can't.
But it proves it right here that you can't because you're requesting all assessments done.
Yeah,
But if you already had... No, hold on.
But we're not requesting it.
Yes, you are. Look, please send all assessments of Timothy that were done by Timothy Kerr, care of Rhonda Camon, social worker, in that letter.
Yeah.
Therefore, if you already had access to that file and could pull it without a consent form, why would you need a privacy information request form if you already have access to it?
To share with someone else.
But it says send Rhonda Camon. That's the social worker. I didn't sign that because you can tell it's 12 days later. You can match it with this exact signature. 12 days earlier. Why wouldn't you have me sign it the same day that I signed my daughter's birth certificate rights?
No, this doesn't make any sense.
That's right.
Well, not in a different way than it doesn't to you.
You want to explain to me that if you say that you have all records to it that belongs to MCFD...
Yeah, we are MCFD.
That's fine. That's
right?
fine. I understand that.
Yeah.
But, first off, that social worker, why would you need to request all assessments done, sent to the social worker, if you already have access to them?
Well, maybe there were other pieces of information that we didn't have that we wanted to collect.
That's right. Why wouldn't you have me sign it the same day?
I don't know.
And then you have contradicting evidence.
Not necessarily.
Yes, because you can't state if it came from my file or my daughter's mom's FS file. You shouldn't have access to that. But now you got a request form 12 days later from that birth certificate and that so forth meaning. I know my rights, laws, and regulations. I've been fighting my own battles in court for 7 years.
Request for access to information,
That's right.
freedom of information, and protection of privacy.
That's right. Now, you can compare the one to 2013. I've also got your office on withheld of information. Not your office, but the other one that this file came from.
Yeah, so this is
that's-
another request for
That's the
information.
one I signed. That's got a timestamp. And if you look right here in this email from a supervisor named Angela Inglis, we do not have a copy of your FYI form. You were given the original. You need to sign in. Therefore, that's withheld of information because you had the file the whole time, and that's exactly what that one email, the other copy is that you see right in your hand underneath that. And you'll see that it has the privacy numbers on it. Right, it would be this one. You see, right? See, I gave you my timestamp copy, okay, and their copy. This is from the privacy office. This is the email telling me that they didn't even have this in the office. Therefore, that falls under withheld of information.
So this is the copy.
Yeah. One's my copy, and one came in my privacy office. In that email, it
This
states
came from the
privacy.
The part of your 2,800 pages.
2,900 pages, including the birth certificate and the privacy.
And
Now,
this is a copy you
that's
kept.
a copy I kept when I got it timestamped.
Yeah.
That email right there confirms that they did not have this. That's in this one here. That email confirms that they did not have the original FYI copy of the form. Therefore, that's withheld of information. I've also involved the BC Civil Liberties Act on this.
So this is your letter?
This is my letter to a newspaper. And I will get it published eventually. I've got 4 different copies. And I've got Lauren Wilker's original report that says all evidence against me are insubstantial. David Jackson's report stating that Section 13, no need for a protection order.
All right.
I've got... And why would you have me sign that privacy request form the same day that you had me sign it and 12 days later when I'm not even in town? You can't explain that one. Because the signatures don't match.
Yeah,
12 days later.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not my office.
But I was told that if I came to you, you would direct me where to go.
I know, but you're asking me how do you explain it. I'm just saying
I
I'm
understand
answering
that.
is,
But
yeah.
I was told that you could tell me where to go. Because I've gone to the privacy office, they pointed me your direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, June. Which is the one that you are supposedly signed, but you weren't even around?
Okay, this one. This is the 10th, and it matches with...
This is March the 15th,
Yeah.
2010.
Yeah, and that's my birth certificate, right? It's the same day. Not the same day, but 12 days earlier. And there's my signature. Not even close. And if you look at the 2 on the Privacy Act form, they're both not even close to each other.
What are the signatures?
Yeah? This is my signature right here,
Yeah.
and these are theirs. Look at the difference.
So-
and these 2 aren't even identical. One has a dot, one doesn't. Mine doesn't even have a dot, and look how it is. 12 days later, you can't...
Well, I'm no handwriting expert, but it looks like your signature.
It's not though.
Yeah. You say you didn't sign this one.
Well, I could... Why wouldn't... The more question is, you would have me sign it the same day.
Yeah.
Not 12 days later.
They
And the
sign.
email's wrong? You've had my email on file for how long? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My lawyer had that whole thing for 7 years. My old lawyer had that email for like 4 or 5 years of the case. So how can you get it wrong as a ministry worker? And the 2 signatures on there don't even align because no dot. Look how they're different. Everything is different. I've had a lot of people tell me the same thing.
Yeah. Well, it don't look that different to me, but I'm no expert, right?
Understandable.
Yeah. It doesn't look that different to me. Obviously, somebody filled this out. You believe it was who?
Rhonda Camo, which is in that email that you got there.
2010. Yeah. We're talking 5 years ago.
Well, I had to hunt this information down. You got to remember all this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Takes a long time to prove.
Yeah. And you're saying you weren't around on
Nope.
that day.
No, I was not around that day at all. Like even Lauren Wilker's report right here, it says all evidence against me in this piece of paper are insubstantial.
Okay, we're just gonna do it one at a time.
Yeah.
We can go through it all, and I'm not gonna get it all.
Well, that's fine. I understand.
Yeah. So specifically, then the FOI request for access request.
Yes.
And so you never got this then?
I never even knew about it.
Yeah.
Until I got my 2,900 papers.
Just now?
No, about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, is I had other investigations going first before I can do other things. You know, I can do so much at a time.
Yeah. So signed twice.
Yep. And why would you need to sign it twice? You wouldn't.
But you have no idea who did this.
I would bet you it's the Rhonda Como person.
Yeah.
Because she states in that email that she pulled a copy. And I also gave you my copy from 2013, so obviously 3 years earlier I could have filled out a request form myself, not somebody else.
Claims these are not your signature.
Yep.
And you never did get your package.
Well, no, I got it now.
But not this one. This was an application for your records.
No, I never.
2010.
Yeah, no, I never got those.
And so somebody filled this out.
Yep.
You may or may not have signed. You said you didn't, but it wasn't sent in regardless because your records didn't come to you.
That's right.
Well, it does say
Care of.
Rhonda Como. So they would come to the office.
Yeah.
And then
I never knew.
They would be given to you.
Never knew. I found, like I said, I found all this when I got my 2,900 pages. And actually, if you want to be technical, if you want to take all the duplicates and triplicates, it was 5,800 pages in total.
Oh, yeah. Assessments. So this is copies of all assessments.
Mm-hmm. But in technicality, if you're ordering assessments, but you're already the ministry and you have access to the ministry file where my assessments were done while I was in the ministry's care, you should already have access to that and you wouldn't need a form.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. And his signatures. So,
and then that's my timestamped copy of when you'll have there as the privacy. And the email is actually copied from Angela Inglis's email, which is on that next page.
Okay, so these two go together.
Let me see.
Yeah.
No. This one goes with the birth certificate, which is that one.
Yeah.
These two are the exact same copy, but one is my timestamp and so forth, which goes with that letter.
Okay, so we're done with these, right?
Yes, because you have that. Yes, we are done with those.
And we're done with this one, right?
That's the
letter,
one.
and
Yes.
David is going to be calling,
Yes.
and you dispute that letter.
I do dispute that
Okay.
letter.
So this is the third one now.
Mm-hmm.
And let's get a handle on this one. This is also a request for access to information.
Signed by me,
Signed,
and you can see filled out because I have bad writing.
yeah,
And you'll see on the bottom that there's a timestamp and a date.
everything about with my name, Timothy Kerr,
Yep.
and Nevaeh Kerr.
Yeah, I didn't get her records because she was in the care of the ministry, so that's fine. I understood that.
Yeah.
But that email there.
Okay, so this is an original and a copy.
One is my photocopy
Yep.
of the original.
Yep.
And that is the original that was in the Privacy Act that was in the ministry's file.
Yep.
That letter there, copied from Angela Inglis's
Yep.
email,
So,
strictly
so
states.
this is actually this is basically the same information.
Yes. But one is my timestamp copy to
Yep.
prove I did it. One is their copy, and you'll see that the other one, the dates that I would have, as you see at the date there, you'll see it's a copy from them.
Yeah.
And you'll see that the date that they received it, up at the top, copy.
Okay, that's right.
Okay.
Oh,
It's a fax copy.
it's a fax copy. That's right.
Yes, they faxed me an extra copy, so I have the original put away.
Okay.
But what ended up happening is you can see that it's my timestamp. But I faxed it to them because I found out 7 months that they didn't have it. Or they stated that they faxed it, but they didn't. And then that's where that email comes in stating
All right.
that you have to come back in because we don't have the original form, which is B.
Request for access to info application.
Yep.
June, is that a 12?
Yeah. I think so. Let me see. No, June 17th, 2013. And they received it April 4th, 2014. That's when they received it from me. And again, you can see,
So they never got it.
no. And as you'll see via that email again, that Angela Inglis, team leader, supervisor, and so forth,
Yeah.
stated that she didn't
So
have
we'll help you with this.
I did it myself.
Uh,
I actually went into the ministry office.
oh, you
and
just went to
the office.
which office?
The one in Surrey at the time that I was dealing with. I went in, I asked for the privacy form. She told me I had to talk to my lawyer. I turned around and I said, no, it's not true. I can't get that information from my lawyer because it's a ministry case. The privacy form has to come with the ministry logo and all this. I know my rights, laws, and regulations. I had to throw the privacy book down, 2 copies of it, and tell her to basically sign it. You sign, I sign, make sure you got it. She said get her the form and walked away, both her and her supervisor. Like, if you had time to read all these letters
Oh,
of
so
the news and...
They gave you the form.
Yep. I filled it out.
Yeah.
They basically took it. I got a timestamp photocopy because they keep the original. I got a photocopy. I timestamped it. They told me 6 to 7 months. I waited until January to phone.
You handed it in the same day.
Yeah, I filled it out right at the counter.
Okay.
Yeah, and they told me that basically that they faxed it and kept telling me that and kept telling me that. January, I think it was January, February, I phoned the privacy office to find out that there was no existing in my file. And because I'm on disability, I had to save some funds and to send off that because it's a long distance fax to the privacy office.
Yeah.
And I put it in myself, mixed with, and like I say, the email that she emailed me herself from her personal email at the ministry office stating that she doesn't have the original form, which she did.
Never came. The record never came.
Well, they did. I had to order them myself. As you
Again.
see. Yeah.
Yeah. But they never came as a result of this
Right.
application.
Right. I had to send that same one right there, and they were fine with it
Yeah.
because of the date and timestamp.
Right. And when did you send yours?
As you'll see right there, it says right there, April 4th. In the middle stamp.
Sorry,
April 4th.
which one? Okay, there, yeah.
Yeah. April 4th, 2014.
Okay.
You'll see how long they lied to me with that email. And David Jackson found that out, determination.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they withheld information from me.
So that was June 17, 2013.
Yep.
Never came.
Yeah, I was told 7 months.
Then you contacted?
Yeah, the Privacy Act office. And they told me they had nothing in my name. I tried to get a hold of the office. They kept telling me they don't have it. I kept telling them to look. We went to a complaint with David Jackson. At that point in time, I received that email, and so did Mr. Jackson, telling me that I had to go in the office to sign a new one. I said, nope, I'll just fax what I have, because as of right now, I have them on withheld of information.
So you ended up faxing a copy of the original.
Of a copy of the original. A copy of a copy, basically.
And then you did that on March.
No, April 4th.
April 4th, 2014.
Yep.
Okay. And this piece is just...
To confirm with the email, basically stating that they didn't have it, they wanted me to come in and sign a new one, and so forth, from the actual supervisor. But obviously they had it the whole time.
Okay.
Then, okay, we'll put those.
That's the third issue.
Yep. Okay, we'll put that there. Put that there. Okay. And you can just go ahead and read that. That's from Lauren Wilker, recommending me to Langley Community Services.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and this is the letter of determination as why we went further with David Jackson. That's another, that's not the one you've seen. You've seen the other ones, the review and so forth.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's a result of what you just read, basically, on that one.
Yeah.
Is how we got to that point.
Sorry, this is from...
That's a meeting that we've had here personally with Ian Vanderbilt and Lauren Wilker and me and David Jackson.
David.
Yeah, back in October.
Okay, is this all connected to the administrative review?
It's everything, yes. Because of the fact that they say here that they've cleared me of a Section 13 child safety concerns.
Here?
No, in here.
Okay.
Okay, you can go ahead and read that. But that was on October 17th. So how can you clear me on all concerns October 17th, but then have concerns when I haven't seen my child in over a year?
Well, okay, do I need to read the whole thing?
Yeah, if you want.
Well, the relevant parts.
Yeah, it's cleared me of all concerns, basically.
Well, that's your point. This is...
If you read the next page, basically it says that there's no need for a protection order. You can see all this. So why am I still going through this? There's no protection order needed.
Who has legal custody of Nevaeh?
My daughter's mom.
Yeah. And...
It's because what you guys have, the ministry,
yeah.
has been telling her.
Yeah.
And all these concerns that you see I've had to clear, on every little detail,
Yeah.
is what they're telling her is why I'm not seeing my child. Because they want to set up this and have special arrangements where my visits are supervised. My mom's been supervising visits for the last 3 years, so I don't get the problem. I don't get this mumbo-jumbo.
Yeah.
I'm getting sick of this. I've been cleared of all concerns.
Yeah.
Then he writes marijuana here as a psychoactive drug.
Yeah.
You're attacking you're discriminating against me. You're defamation of character me. You're slandering me. You're causing me to have emotional distress. And so forth. And now I'm involving...
Due to that letter.
The one that they just done through the administrative review.
Yeah.
I'm being attacked.
Yeah.
I am saying right now, I am Sam. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah, great show.
I am Sam.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel right now.
Yeah. Okay. So, alright. So, I don't know what this
That's Lawrence
said.
Wilker.
This is just a referral to community services program, which you agreed to attend.
Yeah, because
some
like I said,
observation.
but it still says no concerns, all concerns, insubstantial.
Has not been substantiated.
That's right. So why am I told to go to these referral things? And I fought it. I tried to fight it. Trust me, I tried to fight it. Left, right, and center. You can talk to Lauren Walker yourself.
You tried to fight what?
Going to this.
Oh, you didn't want to go.
Why should I have to go to it when there's no concerns? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you had been reported to show frustration.
3 little taps on the bum is child abuse? No, that's exactly what they've come at me with.
Yeah.
They come up with, I had to clear myself, Section 13 with the RCMP. I don't...
So your mom, too, says that indicated that your tone of voice can be too harsh for Nevaeh.
Sometimes you gotta have a strict tone of voice.
How old is Nevaeh?
7 almost.
How old was she then?
What year was that?
There's no date on
Well,
it.
should be, there's no date. Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, June 12th, 2014.
Okay, last year.
Yep.
So she was like 6.
Yep. She'll be 7 this year.
Yeah.
But...
So your mom thought intervention was needed on occasion.
But my mom was the intervention. My mom was supervising the visits. If I got a little out of tone, Mom let me know.
Yeah. But this is, programs like this are meant to get you controlling yourself.
But I had to put that lady who I worked with in her place too. Because when my daughter's mom says there was an arrangement between workers or so forth that my mom could set up private visits with my daughter outside, away from me. When the worker comes up and states that we harassed and stalked my daughter's mom is why she won't present the number, and I have to call them on it and go all the way to the vice chairman, and they state that my services are terminated because basically I put a worker in her place and the information about your mom will be documented. Yeah, I got a lot of different, I'm going every different direction.
So this says you agreed to go.
Yeah,
That's what
I
it
agreed
says
to
in
go.
there. Yeah.
But if they're not doing, I had to put her in her place because she wouldn't do her job.
Yeah. Yeah.
It all links together.
Yeah. So your point there, though, is
why was I told to take it?
There was a there was reasons given to you, and it says you agreed to go.
Yeah.
So.
But the reasons were basically the same thing they're giving me now. They're telling me it's because of the marijuana. They're telling me
there's no mention of marijuana.
But from the review. So you see what I mean?
Yeah.
It all links together. I went to get the help and so on and forth.
But that didn't work out for you then.
Right, because I had to put her in her place. And every time that as you see with all these different letters, they're all linked together. How many times have I put Lauren in his place, Ian in his place, and I'll keep doing it. Because I have the evidence, and eventually this is going to hit media. This is going to hit the news. This is going to the BCCLA, human rights issue. Mm-hmm. This is getting ridiculous. Mm-hmm. You drink coffee, it's a whatever, psycho drug. You take Tylenol, it's the same thing, different file.
Well.
And you can't, it's all in
You
mind.
can debate that a lot. I just don't recommend, I don't recommend any parent who has primary care of young kids to be smoking dope.
But I'm not primary care.
Yeah.
I'm doing supervised visits.
Yeah. Well,
but do you know much about marijuana?
Oh, I know.
You know what the government's told you. I bet.
Yeah.
You know exactly probably what the government has told you.
Yeah.
Because I know it cures cancer. I know it cures AIDS. I know this. It helps with this. It helps with arthritis. It's been proven to cure kids with through seizures. It's been proven with all this left, right, and center.
Yeah. I don't quite agree with that, but we're not here to debate that part.
That's fine.
Yeah, we're not.
But I'm just stating the point. They can't. I'm licensedly prescribed. I don't have problems taking care of my child. And there.
So what's stopping you from accessing your child now?
Because mother won't make an agreement.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be supervised by the ministry because I shouldn't have to be. Yeah. I had my mother do it for 3 years.
Is the ministry still involved?
No. As far as I know, no.
Yeah. So it's...
but the fact is, this all happened while I was in the ministry's care, and I want it dealt with.
Yeah. So your outcome, what you're looking for...
I want a letter stating that everything that they said is not true, and I want to present it in court. I want a letter.
That's right. You want a letter
stating that all the evidence they had against me was insubstantial. There's no child safety concerns. They can't touch on the marijuana. They're coming back on past history of so forth. Woohoo! That's underage stuff. They can't touch that. That's illegal.
Yeah. So that final letter that you got out of the administrative review.
That would be this one.
Yeah, the one. Yeah.
Yep. They're going back on history of history. And they're going on the marijuana, which is discrimination, defamation of character, and so forth.
So in the process of my investigation as to whether or not Nevaeh is safe in your care, I've reached a conclusion that you are not able to manage your anger, and at times you are not able to resolve conflict in appropriate ways. Your inability to maintain calm and the observed escalation of conflict when things do not go your way has raised concerns about how you may address parenting issues with your daughter.
I got an anger problem with stupid people.
Yeah.
And I don't take it on a child. And if I feel I'm being attacked by an adult, I will stand my ground.
Yeah.
As you stated in this letter, you're holding pictures against me against expression of art through that last meeting on October 17th. That is discrimination. That is expression of art.
What pictures are you talking about?
David, where's that David Jackson letter? Do you have David Jackson's letter?
Yeah, I got
yes, you do.
2 of them, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
No, one of them.
There you go. We're concerned about pictures you have posted. Very last comment. During the conversation with the social worker Lauren Wilker and the team of Ian Vanderbilt, they were concerned about pictures posted you had posted on social media, and they felt that they were threatening.
Okay.
That's off my personal Facebook. That is privacy breach, and so forth, and it's an expression of art. So what? So what? I took a picture of 300 Spartan that says the war is now over, so forth. So I took the Terminator one and said the Ministry of Children and Family Services, and you've been terminated because it's a victory candidate of expression of art. Therefore, you can't touch me on that. And you breached my privacy by touching my Facebook. They state they were emailed to them? No. Because my friends know that I have nothing against the ministry, and I've been fighting it. And I'll fight it left, right, and center. They know I ain't going to be no harm to the ministry. And you know what? I'm sitting here keeping calm right now, having a decent conversation with you. Mm-hmm. If you were, defending different actions and so forth and not listening to my concerns, that's being stupid. I might have a little bit of an escalated voice. But that's normal. Everybody has a right. It's called freedom of speech. And I'm not sitting here raising my tone of voice.
No, you're doing really good. But you got to know that's not a strategy that is very effective.
Well, sometimes it has to be.
But
because I don't.
It's never worked for me.
Well, I don't get loud. I only get loud if I have to get through to you.
Yeah.
Like with Lauren Wilker when this meeting came up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I basically told him kindly that I'm not, and he wouldn't get the point. I yelled at him. And I said, I am not sitting down with a meeting with you guys due to the fact that everything you contradict is contradict. Mm-hmm. You put me in this program, and yet no reason to. Mm-hmm. I have to agree to it to see my kid, or I got to fight longer.
Yeah.
I hired a private investigator to serve my daughter-mom's court papers, and so forth. I've done it all. Yeah. I've got substitution orders, merger of files. Mm-hmm. I've done it all myself. So what? I alter a couple pictures. So what? My daughter doesn't see what other people see. Yeah. And as long as it's not within the child's earshot, the child's way, and anything around the child, no harm to the child. And I've been fighting this from the get-go. I've got the proof, I've got the evidence, and I will eventually launch. I've already got one of my videos on the internet, and that was a transit bus driver.
What was that about?
Oh, I got on a transit bus, and this elderly lady had a walker, and the bus driver denied her ramp access. So she started walking up backwards, tried to almost fell forward. I grabbed the walker, helped her on and off the bus, got off my bus, and I asked the bus driver kindly, does your ramp work? He ignored my question. I said, does your ramp work? He finally acknowledged it. I said, I don't take kindly to this and that. He then at that forth said, no, she didn't. I said, yes. He then for there told me to get off his bus. And I said, thank you. You're the new YouTube sensation. Mm-hmm. Complained to transit. They asked me not to post it. Mm-hmm. I posted it. Mm-hmm. Not, like I say, I'm just trying to see my kid. Yeah. And everything that you guys seem to keep telling my daughter's mom, this and that, like you see with the administrative review, that her mom was notified of stuff. And her lawyer.
So, have you applied for access to your
Yes.
job? And where is that at?
Well, currently, my lawyer's trying to get it in front of a judge because my daughter's mom hasn't complied to Rule 5. And we're just playing it out by ear right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm playing every different card, every different direction, and I'm coming every different direction in every different way.
Mm-hmm. You're just trying every strategy you can think of. Because
I'm in the right. Because I know my charter rights. I know my rights, laws, and regulations. And I know black law from 1867 all the way to 2012.
So when you go to court, then...
all this evidence is going to come forward.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm hoping that I don't have to bring forth this
subpoena
evidence.
people that you think you need to,
Left, right, and center.
like the ministry.
Right? If we have to, we have to.
Yeah.
But if we can resolve this, and get this letter, and get all this other stuff done, where I can have it basically thrown out in court, all this other stuff, I won't have to bring this forward, and we won't have to take further
Well,
action.
there's nothing to throw out in court. Right?
Because the
ministry is not involved in court. It's between you and your child's mother.
But this is because of the ministry.
If
the ministry right now was to write me a letter clearing me of everything that they basically have said in the last couple of months that I've been dealing with this office, Lauren Wilker, write the report, basically say, okay, there's no evidence of this, there's no concern, there's none of this, none of that, and I was to get that letter, I wouldn't be approaching the ombudsman in the BCCLA.
What information does Nevaeh's mom have from the ministry, from us?
I don't know.
So, maybe she has nothing.
Well, according to that letter...
But she still has custody.
Yeah, but according to that letter that you saw there...
Which one?
Shoot.
First one or second one?
I think it was the administrative review one.
Okay.
At the very back, that the mom's lawyer has been notified. Very back page.
Yeah.
Now, what have you guys been saying? I don't know.
Given all the above facts, it is my assessment that your contact with Nevaeh should be supervised until such time that the above concerns are satisfactorily addressed. Nevaeh is no longer in the care of MCFD, but MCFD has an obligation to ensure the child, youth safety, and well-being while they live with his or her parent. For this reason, Michelle Tomlinson and her lawyer were informed of the ministry's recommendation that your future access to Nevaeh needs to be adequately supervised.
That's fine. Adequately supervised was my mom for 3 years, so why not now? What have you been telling me different wise? Now you're holding my marijuana against me. Now you're holding my past against me, which you can't legally do.
You have been supervised for 3 years.
By my mother.
Yeah.
And before that, I was done with Tin Harbor.
Yeah.
Before that, I was done at another office.
I'm not reading in here that your mom can't do it.
That's right. But what? They're saying no.
Who's saying no?
The lawyers. My daughter's mom's lawyer.
To any supervision.
With my mom.
With your mom.
But why?
I don't know.
But there's no.
We're not.
But you guys wrote this. You guys wrote this. Nobody specified anything. And
we didn't even mention your mom's name in here.
That's right.
It's just that we recommend that your access to Nevaeh needs to be supervised.
Okay, but you don't explain why the marijuana is basically in detail. As I said, you'll speak with David Jackson on that.
Yeah.
And the other fact is what have you been telling her? Because technically, they don't even mention the fact that they're okay with my mom supervising or so forth. Yeah. Ministry is not saying anything. Yeah. I want to know what's being said. I want to know it all in detail. And as I said, right now, if there was to be a written letter clearing me of everything and that there's basically no concerns and so forth, because there isn't, and I won't have to approach the BCCLA and so forth. Because they're nothing.
Lauren is saying that there are concerns in this letter.
Then explain to me what they are.
He says, well, we talked about this, that you have, you're not able to manage your anger, and at times you're not able to resolve conflict in appropriate ways.
Oh, I'm able to.
But your response to that is, you just have that with stupid people, not with Nevaeh.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's fine.
Yeah.
But the other fact is that what are the main concerns? You're basically saying this and this and that, but you have no physical evidence and physical proof that I've done any harm or so forth in front of my child. So why? Back it off.
Physical evidence, so we don't have a bruise on Nevaeh.
You don't have anything. You're coming at me for 3 taps.
Yeah.
You're not explaining what.
Yeah.
You're not explaining what your actual concerns are.
Yeah.
Are you concerned that I'm hitting my child? Are you concerned with the Section 13 you had on me? What more?
What he's saying here sounds like is it's the first time I'm reading this letter, right?
That's fine.
Yeah. That he's connecting your anger issues and how you get frustrated with potential problems down the road with Nevaeh.
But you can't.
You can't control yourself. How can you control yourself with Nevaeh?
It's been proven for the last 7 years almost.
Yeah.
My daughter's never seen anything. Except 3 taps on the bum.
Yeah. You've been supervised.
That's fine. That's all I'm ever asking for. I've actually been supervised from the very beginning of time.
Oh, you've never had?
No.
No.
Oh, I've had, sorry,
Yeah.
2 days a week were unsupervised when I took my daughter to McDonald's by myself. But the point is, you were told in the administrative review to explain in detail in 30 days.
Yeah.
That's not explaining in detail.
Yeah.
So now I got to phone back the other guy who did the administrative review and launch a complaint stating that it wasn't done
Yeah.
to the degree that it states in the administrative review.
So you want more detail?
I want to know every concern. I want to know every little detail. And if you nail marijuana on me again, this one's already done for, so it doesn't matter. I want it in detail.
Yeah.
What concerns do you have? Do you have any evidence or so forth that I've laid a hand on my child? Do you have evidence that my child has heard what you say she's heard?
Let me finish reading now. Talks about your mental health and your dependence on a psychoactive drug, marijuana.
So what I'm prescribed by a doctor.
To manage your health issues are all concerning factor that will impair your ability to manage the often stressful job of parenting a child.
I'm not. That's the thing, is you're not explaining it in detail. There's no physical reason why. You can't hold that against me. I'm a federal prescribed patient, and I am seeking a lawyer. And I am seeking every direction.
Yeah, no, that's. I have no problem with that.
But you see, that letter right
you're
there.
You're entitled to do that.
Yeah, that letter does not even obey by that the review line, because it says by April 20th in detail.
Yeah.
This doesn't explain in detail what your concerns are.
Yeah.
That's already a breach in this office.
Well, I don't know. This is a very typical letter at the conclusion of our involvement with a family. There's nothing unusual about this one. What would be unusual, I think, is what you're asking for is a detailed report. You're not going to get that. You're going to get a summary of the concerns. Like, that's typical.
It says in detail.
Yeah.
But that's not detail. Therefore, that's not a compliance.
Well, I believe it is. But you've made a complaint to who?
The ombudsman.
Okay, yeah, let's see what they say.
Yeah.
Right? We do answer to them as well.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So
I've also phoned the BC Civil Liberties, Human Rights.
Yeah.
And I'll be phoning this Ron guy back that's on the administrative review, and I'll be telling him there's no compliance, because he'll have a copy of it as well. Hopefully. Because that's not in detail.
Okay. Who's Ron? The Ron guy.
Ron Bronson.
Oh, Ray Bronson.
Ray Bronson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be phoning him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be phoning Ray Bronson and telling him that, because he should have a copy of that letter.
Yeah.
And David Jackson doesn't, so he'll get a copy of it, and I'll basically tell him that it's not in detail, it's not in compliance.
Okay. So we got 4 things so far.
Yep. I think those are it. I think that's it.
That's it. Let me review them.
Okay.
I want to make sure that.
I have my papers back.
Oh yeah, leftovers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
First one was connected to the marijuana. How can you prove disability due to marijuana? I've never done anything wrong. But that first one is It's the same as the fourth one.
Basically.
They're the same
They're
thing.
basically the same
So
thing.
we really got three things, right?
Really, yeah.
Let's put those two together.
You can do as you need to.
Yeah. Well, not me need to. I want to make sure.
Well, that's
that,
fine.
That,
That's fine. If
that
it's if it's all around marijuana,
Yeah.
whatever's questioning marijuana, put it all as one subject if you wish.
Yeah.
That would just make it simpler.
Yeah. So it's us not adequately proving disability due to marijuana and.
Well, you're saying it's basically that I can't parent,
That-
and it's
yeah.
mind altering, but
Yeah.
you have no cause, no proof,
Yeah.
no nothing.
And we have no concerns, and we should write a letter
Yeah.
stating that that kind of clears you of all concerns related to the care of Nevaeh.
Yep.
Yeah. But you completely dispute the information in the letter
Yep.
following the administrative review. If we were to write another letter based